Hey guys, it's your girl Maeve with Cherryfield Arts Initiative giving you a galaxy pour tutorial. I'm going to show you how to make designs like these using just a couple of things you might already have. But first, here's a few pro tips. Mix paints ahead of time, the night before if possible. Gather your items and have them all in one place before you start. Clear your sink for easier cleanup. And think ahead to prepare a space for where this piece will rest for the 2 to 3 weeks that it'll need to dry. For this type of acrylic pour, I mix the paint using 2 parts Flowtrol and 1 part paint, then adding enough water to achieve the consistency seen here. Now for the stuff you'll need. Paint and pouring medium, stirring sticks and cups, rags for cleanup and water, and surfaces to pour on. You can use many different surfaces for this: canvas, hardboard, boxes, anything with a flat surface, although there's no reason that a rounded surface couldn't work just as well. But today I'm going to be doing the lid to a wooden box that I've been eyeing up for a while, and I'll do the bottom of the box at another time, and maybe I can show you how that went in the future. Now for the stuff you'll want. Lazy Susan, gloves, blowtorch. I have a Lazy Susan, and I found that it's very helpful if I need to rotate the piece, see it from all directions, and I don't want to pick it up and move it or go around the table several times. I use gloves, and it saves me lots of time on hand washing. I can also rinse the gloves off, and they're good to use for the next pour. I use the blowtorch because it forces bubbles to the surface, which makes really cool designs in my pour. Careful not to get too close with the blowtorch because you can scorch the painting. And Hazel hates when you scorch the painting. It's a good girl. So first I make sure to cover the table I'm working on because you will have a lot of spillage. But don't worry about the paint that you think that you're wasting. Remember, if you're mixing 2 parts Flowtrol to 1 part paint, then you're going to end up using a lot more Flowtrol. And that's the bulk of what you're wasting. It looks like you're wasting paint, but you're not. And you can keep that paint and use it in future pours, or use it as a background, or just use that paint in some other way. So I know that was a big hang up for me. Look at all the paint they're wasting. But you need to use a lot. And if you don't, it'll ruin the effect. And you can reuse that paint and you're not wasting that much actually. So here I have the pine round. I've put some black around the edges and black pool in the middle. That's going to help my pour push out to the sides. So now I'm just going to wipe my hands off and get ready to pour paint in the cup. Because this is my first tutorial and I'm not great with the camera work just yet, I did not pour that paint in frame. So you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm alternating darks and lights and iridescent colors into the cup, not pouring very carefully at all. Some people I notice pour very carefully. I pour haphazardly and messy, and that's just kind of my way. But it all works out in the end. So now my lid is covered and my cup is ready and slap. Now just let it sit. All the paint is going to drip and drop and settle onto your surface. You can help it along, lift it up. And if you can see, it's already doing a really cool thing here. Now I'm just going to let it sit and spread on its own and let the bubbles rise to the surface and cells appear.
And take my sweet time.
While we're all witnessing this galactic magic, I just want to take an opportunity to let you know that what I'm using here You don't need to use this stuff. You can use pretty much any kind of latex or acrylic water-based paint that you have. So that I've used house paint, I've used craft paint, I've used tempera paint, I've used cheap paint, I've used expensive paint, I've used the end of my paints, I've used almost dry paints after I've brought them back with some water. Try it out with something that you don't really care about and that you can afford to just kind of use and play with. And then once you get a feel for it, you can use the more expensive or the iridescence or something like that. But you can also use, I've seen Elmer's glue wall being used to create cells, or silicone. So maybe people have WD-40, or you could use a coconut oil-based hair serum. I've seen all kinds of different things. Chances are you have something in your house that would be safe and appropriate to use in an acrylic pour. And if you just a little bit of Googling, a little bit of YouTube watching, and you'll be able to find what you need. Now let's hit it with the blowtorch and see what happens. Again, a blowtorch is not necessary for this at all. I use it because I want to get as many cells as I can, and this is going to help me achieve that look. Now I'm just going to pick it up and carefully tilt it from side to side, pulling out whatever lumps and bumps might be in the paint, and just try to stretch those cells and make a cool design that I'm happy with. Just beware that this design is going to evolve and change over the next few hours. You can use acrylic pouring techniques to mimic all kinds of textures, including stone, granite, marble. And when I'm done with this and I've put it up to dry for many days, probably a couple of weeks, then I can varnish it or put an epoxy resin coating over it that's going to keep it shiny and really add some depth to this piece. Okay guys, it's the next day. This is a sneak peek at how it's turning out. It is drying, and this is the lid. I went ahead also and did the bottom of the box that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to let these guys dry. Look at that. That is just incredible. They look like planets, and it's just so easy. How could you not fall in love with this technique? Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you feel inspired to go out and try something new. And if you decide to go do an acrylic pour of any kind, please show us in the comments what you came up with. Thanks for supporting Cherryfield Arts Initiative, and we hope to see you soon. And be sure to find us on Facebook and hit the like button so that you'll be informed of all the different tutorials and workshops we're hosting online this summer. Maeve Perry does not claim to be an expert in the fluid arts. Check out these professional fluid artists for more videos.